Welcome to the video tutorial for the Model 4540 EGauge Combo. We hope this is helpful in getting started using this equipment. First, turn on the EGauge so it can go through the warm-up. The first screen shown has useful information on it, such as software version, current battery voltage, and gauge serial number. The gauge will go through internal checks before starting a warm-up timer. The timer is set to 300 seconds. You do have the option to escape the warm-up, but it is not recommended. Troxler does recommend letting the gauge warm up for a total of 10 minutes. Once the warm-up is complete, you will be at the Ready menu. It is always recommended to take a standard count at the beginning of each day that the gauge is used. This is done by pressing the standard button on the keypad. The previous standard count is shown along with the question, "Take new count?" Press yes, and the gauge will walk you through the standard count process. Follow the on-screen prompts. The gauge needs to be placed on a solid and relatively dense material such as asphalt or compacted soil. This serves as the standard block. The standard count process is 2 steps, one with the rod in the safe position and one at the background position. Each step will be 2 minutes in length. After the first step is complete, the gauge will prompt you to move the rod into the background position and press start. It will then finish taking the second step of the standard count. Once that is complete, you will be shown the standard count values and asked if you want to use the new standard. A P or F will be displayed in the upper right corner of the screen to denote passing or failing. Press yes to accept a passing standard count or no to reject a failed one. If the standard count fails, it is recommended to take another one. Remember to keep all other nuclear gauges more than 30 feet away. To get the precision and accuracy needed for QA/QC readings, we recommend using the following procedure. Set the count time to 1 minute or longer and the background count time to at least 1 minute. Press the setup button and then 1 for count time or 2 for background count time. A confirmation screen will display your selection. Press escape to exit the setup menu and bring you back to the Ready screen. At the test location, which should be a smooth surface where the gauge base makes good contact with the asphalt, press start to begin a reading. If an initialization is needed, the gauge will prompt you to put the rod in the safe position and to press start again to initialize. After the initialization, the gauge will prompt you to move the rod to the desired measurement depth. For asphalt measurements, lower the rod to the backscatter position. When moving the rod, take extra care to ensure that the rod is at the backscatter notch. It can be easy to overshoot this notch. This will result in an inaccurate reading. To ensure the handle is in the notch, you can gently pull up on the handle, then push it back down to seat the handle at the bottom of the notch. Troxler's recommended method is to place the handle just above your target notch and then to press down without gripping the trigger until it stops. This will guarantee you do not overshoot the notch and that it seats in the proper position. Once the rod is in the backscatter notch, press start to begin taking the reading. All other nuclear density gauges should be in their safe position and kept over 30 feet away. After the reading has been taken, the gauge will ask you if the background count is current. Press no to initiate taking a new background count. Follow the on-screen prompts and move the rod into the background position. Press start to begin taking a background reading. At the end of the timer, the gauge will display the background count. Press enter to proceed to the density results. Depending on what targets were enabled, the density results screen may vary. The top line displays percent compaction, the second line displays wet density, and the bottom line displays percent air voids if a voidless target is entered. Additional screens with counts and GPS coordinates can be viewed by pressing the down arrow. Quick readings may be necessary when measuring hot asphalt and working between roller passes. To do this, the gauge can be set to take 30-second readings. When taking readings on hot asphalt, it is recommended to have the gauge initialized before every reading, as the hot asphalt mat can cause temperature fluctuations in the detector. Initializing the gauge before each reading ensures optimal performance for each reading. To set the initialized frequency to always, press Setup, press 5 for options, then press 5 for initialize frequency. Choose 1 for always. Your selection will then be confirmed. Now let's set the count time to 30 seconds. From the Options menu, press Escape to get to the Setup menu, press 1 for count time, then press 5 for 30-second readings. Your selection will be confirmed. Press Escape to get back to the Ready screen. You can verify your settings by pressing Status on the keypad. Press Escape to get back to the Ready screen. If this is your first reading of the day, you will want to take a reading on the same mix you will be measuring to get a current background count. From the Ready screen, press Start and follow the on-screen prompts to begin an initialization. After the initialization, follow the on-screen prompts to take a reading by moving the rod to the backscatter position and press Start. Take a 30-second reading. When the gauge asks if the background count is current, press No. The gauge will prompt you to move the rod to the background position and press Start to begin taking a background count. After this background count is taken, you will not need to take another background count for any additional quick readings that day unless the mix changes. Press Enter when the background count is displayed, and press Enter again when the density measurement is shown to get back to the Ready screen. Once back at the Ready screen, you will want to initialize the gauge. It does not matter where you initialize the gauge, so you can initialize while walking to the test location or off the asphalt somewhere else. Once the measurement depth screen is showing, the gauge can be taken to the test location. Place the gauge where the measurement is going to be taken. Make sure it has good contact with the mat. Lower the rod to the backscatter position and press Enter to start taking the 30-second reading. After the 30-second reading is complete, the gauge no longer needs to be kept at the measurement location. When asked if the background count is current, press Yes, and your density results will be shown. This process of initializing the gauge elsewhere and then placing it at the test site to take the 30-second reading can be repeated. This will allow you to reduce the amount of time spent on the hot asphalt mat and reduce the risk of impeding the rollers. Thank you for watching our video. If you have any additional questions, do not hesitate to contact us. You can reach out to your local sales rep, call our customer service department, or reach out to the product management team. Contact information will be posted in the description below.